I just taste less cheese.
Less cheese.
Yeah. It just
cheese tastes like less cheese. Huh. That's very accurate.
The only way I can describe what just happened. Welcome in.
Ooh. Switch to second gear for that.
Yeah, dog.
Why not?
Redlined.
Yeah, Cruising USA.
Mm-hmm.
I almost changed it to welcome back to Unstable Discourse.
Sure.
How would that feel?
Do it. Well, you just did it.
Yeah,
you just did it.
And welcome back to Unstable Discourse. How do we feel about it?
Good.
Feeling strong.
Very good. Yeah.
Feeling real strong.
Good job.
It would be another evolution. It's changed a few times, and we're due for it. It's been a while.
56 days to the day.
You counted.
It's been 56 days.
8 weeks.
I knew somebody was going to make that joke. I didn't know it was going to be you, and I didn't know it was going to be this close to the top
I've
of the episode.
never seen that movie either.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I posted the mailbag thing and I said, make your predictions for the episode, fully expected somebody to say their prediction was we were going to comment on how long it had been. Because we've done that every time we take a break.
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody did.
Nobody did.
oh, nobody did. Okay.
Sons of bitches.
Well, it's been 56 days. I counted.
Yes, it's been 56 days. It's been too long. So many things have happened in everybody's personal lives. This return to the show is basically going to be, let's get caught up on what everybody's been up to. What is everybody fired up about? Honestly, we haven't even talked that much amongst ourselves. So
That's how busy we've been.
genuinely don't know what what any of you have been up to. I mean, I know a few things.
I was terrified when you walked in the door and didn't knock because I didn't recognize you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been that long. It's been
shut
56 days.
Who is this dude?
I'll bring up the thing I was talking about earlier where I said, it's been so long since we hung out that I missed a joke that you made in our group chat because I was like, oh, I forgot Jason just answers this all the time.
Right.
Yes.
So one of the
Nothing
things
is real.
No.
one of the things that's happened since we've been away is that two of us bought houses. And Jason, you made that reference that, oh yeah, I just bought a house
Sorry,
too.
it's been chaotic. I bought a house.
Yeah. And it took me for a second. I was like, oh, I can't believe Jason also bought a house. That's crazy.
Nope.
I read it, looked at Sheila, and said, he's joking, right?
Evidence that it's been a long time. I forgot to do intros. It's
Let you do
Ryan
that.
Fancher of Unstable Disc Golf Gear.
Yes, sir.
It's Jason Callahan of Bag of Tricks and Delwood Disc Golf.
Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be back.
Sean Callahan of Delwood Disc Golf.
Ya boy.
We got the producer, a.k.a. the deucer, Sheila Callahan, the queen of the
That's what they
canyons
call
in the
her.
house. And we also got a surprise visit from LL Lauren Lakeberg, the disc golf photographer.
Lauren Yell.
She just quietly shrugged her shoulders.
Yeah.
She's
That's
the
on
mics will
brand.
pick that up.
Yeah.
That's fine.
really
Her
hoping
neck
to
did
hear.
crack when she
Yeah,
did it.
the
So.
fabric moving, rustling it. I'm sure though we'll get that. Yeah.
She went, meep.
So since this whole episode is basically about things that we're fired up about, we could say that's probably the title of this one.
Yeah.
And we don't have a lot of sort of chit chat to kick us off with. We can jump right into
Sure can.
fired up.
Think planned. So it's going to be fired up.
That's as good as any.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with it.
As
I
good
did
as that.
think about doing like a fire marshal bill, but I would have messed it up.
That
Yeah.
would've been good.
You got to curl your lip.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. We're fired up.
Who has the biggest thing they're fired up about?
Me.
Please tell us some things.
I'm fired up that you two idiots are done buying houses so we can get back to recording this goddamn podcast.
Because it's been 56
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I'm
Yeah.
happy to be back.
Yeah.
Did you also take a vacay? Oh, you guys went to
Yeah,
Sandy
we
Point.
went to Sandy
Yeah.
Point.
Jesus,
Yeah, there's been
so
a
much.
lot that's happened.
SP11, right?
Spexy.
Speleven. Yeah. Yeah.
Spexy.
Spexy. Yeah.
Spexy.
So you're fired up that we're back and that we.
I'm just happy to be back on the mic.
Hmm.
Feels like I'm at home.
Like hanging out.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're all.
Yeah.
I will. I'm not. That's not my fired up, but I agree. Yes, I'm happy that we're all hanging out and doing this.
Yeah.
Recording.
What are you fired up about though, Sean?
I am fired up that I've got some family coming in town.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Gross.
Me too.
Yeah. Me too.
Sorry, Dad, if you listen to
Oh,
this.
yeah.
My dad, my stepmom, my sister, and my brother-in-law are all coming in tomorrow, and they're going to be staying here on Callahan Acres.
Nice.
They're
Somewhere
coming,
in the back acres.
yeah, we'll
I'm
figure it
sure.
out.
Yeah.
Tents or something, I don't know. Not for the greatest of reasons. My Jason and I's aunt passed away almost a year and a half ago. Her memorial service was supposed to be this weekend last year. It got canceled because of COVID and got rescheduled for the same weekend. I would imagine that was just, I don't know why that was, that it was like an entire year went by, but it is finally happening now. I think we talked about it last season too. So that's finally happening, and they will be in town for that. So it's a bummer, but I'm also happy to be celebrating her life. She was an awesome lady, and it's going to be really cool to have a lot of our extended family and her friends and everybody together. And it's going to be personally somewhat strange. I think I was telling Rye about this, that like I never really have like time off, like especially during like a weekend, and then on top of it, it's Shanty Classic weekend, which I won't be at, which will be very strange.
Oh, wow.
That's happening. And like, obviously it's in great hands. Ryan and Doc and Mike Apostolou is stepping up to help out with that. So that's super cool that he's doing that to help out the crew. Yeah, man, it's going to be an interesting and fun and family-filled weekend.
Not a great reason, like you already said, but the older I've gotten, the more I've been like, I don't care necessarily what the reason is. Like every time we all get together, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yep.
Shout out to Mike Apostolou. I knew there had to be a countdown until when he was going to be directing tournaments. Like he was just
Yeah.
too
I mean,
good at Clash.
he, even like going into this season, he was like, where and when can I help? So when this came up, I was like, we're going to need somebody else to help out. Like as much as you and Doc could be good, it's always nice to have a third person or a fourth person or whatever. And then Ryan can go around and kiss all the babies and do the thing that he does, which is mostly nothing.
That's true.
So yeah, having him out, he jumped at the opportunity and he was like, yep, I'm in. And he's been, like daily asking questions. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? So I gave him like access to the back office of PDGA and gave him the passwords. And he was looking at the layouts. He was like, dude, this is so sick. And so he's got the bug for sure. He's excited.
Empowering the next generation of people to run events.
Yeah.
Super important. On that note, I'll go ahead and jump in and say that I'm fired up that I've just ran my last probably ever disc golf league event. I'm like passing the torch as well. I actually don't know 100% who's going to take over the league. I have a few people in mind, but I'll also say this: if it doesn't happen, that's okay. I think we're shifting gears at Disc Golf Chicago into more advocacy things. I'm going to be focusing in on getting disc golf into schools, getting disc golf into park districts. Like, hey, they have courses. Why don't they have leagues? And why don't they have like programming? Why aren't they running events? Let's start. It shouldn't just keep being dudes who love disc golf who are doing all this. Like, let's get the facilities.
Yeah, they have paid employees that do these types of things. Yeah, for sure.
So that's my new focus. I would hate for the league to go away, but if it does, it's just not going to be the focus moving forward. So I'm super proud of what we've done over the last 7 years with leagues, but I'm passing that torch. So fired up about moving forward.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Hey, Rye.
Hey.
What are you fired about? Fired up about, bub? Never anything.
Yeah, never. So yeah, we bought a house. It's cool. We sold our old house, which is also great. It was up for 2 days and sold, which was awesome. And the closing on that house is coming up this next weekend. So we have a couple more days to clean up the house and be done with it. And that is probably what I'm most excited about. I am way overrunning back and forth between the houses and getting all that shit out. I just want it to be over so I can just hang out in Lockport. It's
where you were always meant to be.
Apparently. But
where I can keep an eye on you.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Or Doc, because I have now seen Doc and Paula so many times. They're right around the block. But more importantly, once we bought this new house, the backyard and the total lot space was big enough that I knew at some point I was going to need a larger lawnmower situation. And so about a week before Sandy Point, I called around and there was a place called B&I Rental in Homer Glen, not too far from where I live now. They are Cub Cadet dealers. And so I called them up and said, hey, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be looking for a mower. And I'm looking at this specific model, and I gave him like it's an LT46. It's like a new for this year. It's like an entry level riding lawnmower, right? Which is perfect for what I need.
It's got training wheels, right?
Totally.
Damn it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was trying to find the joke.
It's not a gigantic one is really the point. But the guy who answered the phone I was talking with, and he's an expert on this stuff. He's really great. His name is Dave. He said that
Dave's not here, man.
Yeah. There had been a waiting list for this mower all year, but they finally supplied everyone on the list with the mower, and they had gotten one in like a day or two earlier, assembled it, put it together, and it's on the showroom floor. And I said, how long do you think it'll last? And he was like, it won't last the day. And I said, I will be there in 35 minutes. And I went down there, and sure as shit, there it was. And I gave him my card, and the next day they delivered it to me, and it is awesome.
Now do you understand why I'm constantly mowing the grass?
I can't not do. I put the earbuds in. I've got the noise cancellation, and I just rock out and just full throttle. I don't care what. It's so great.
It's so peaceful, dude.
It's so great. So I've got a giant walnut tree, and I'm just flinging walnut seeds everywhere and flinging grass into the neighbors. I don't care where. It's awesome. Yeah. So that's probably the thing that I've been most excited about. And my daughter Nora also, I've been letting her steer, like just sit on my lap and just drive it in the yard wherever she pleases. And that is like, if we're having a bad time, hey, let's go outside and drive the mower.
Your daughter is driving before Jason's daughter. That's crazy.
Listen. Okay.
Got him.
You want to know who was driving my car around just the other day? It was Nora. I scooped her up and let her drive. Yeah, it was Maddie.
Good guess.
We did like an just shy of an hour of behind the wheel in a parking lot the other day, and I said, we'll plan on doing this like once a week, and we'll find bigger empty parking lots so you can kind of experiment a little more. I'm not ready for her to be on the
size of the parking lot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Can we talk
you'll graduate.
about the dynamic? Is Maddie asking you to drive, or is she just kind of like, I don't really care? Like,
no, she definitely wants.
So tell me about the resistance. Like, well, I didn't even know why we started joking about this at first, and I was thinking about it on the way here. Why?
What's on my end, it's like, so I have, since I was a child, taken driving very seriously. I don't take anything serious in life except for when I'm behind the wheel of a vehicle. I do take it.
That's a pretty good time to be serious.
Very seriously. Yeah. I recognize the responsibility. I recognize that at any moment you could kill somebody behind the wheel. That's how I viewed it every second I've been behind. So because I take it so seriously, I just got the one kid, and I'm like, the concept of putting her behind the wheel and hoping that the entire world takes it as seriously as I do, so my one kid doesn't end up in a situation, God forbid. It was it was kind of like too much. I would find every excuse. No, I wasn't mentally prepared to say,
I'm not ready.
World.
I'm not ready, Maddie.
I got her to this point.
I'm not ready, daughter.
Don't kill her. Like, that sucks. It's such a reality because of how I view that particular thing. So I just had to like get over that mental hurdle of no, she's not going to.
Was there some
get run over by a semi the second she's out there? I could see how it was affecting how she felt about her place in life, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't be stunting her growth because of this fear I have. So I just was like, okay, this is something I have to deal with.
It's bigger than you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me is that my mom didn't start driving until she was like 24, 25. And now she's a way worse driver than she probably would have been if she would have just started, at a normal age, right?
Like, out of her system,
it becomes a bigger thing. You get anxious about it, and it's like
our paternal grandmother never got her license, and Mandy's grandmother didn't either. So, like, I don't know. It was just like, I knew that. I'm like, oh, there's just people that don't. That was part of it, is that because I knew that there was just people that didn't. So it was easy for me to fall back on that. But we're all good now.
How did the parking lot go, though? Like, what?
Great. Yeah. That's why I asked her. Like, when we were done, I was like, how did that feel for you? There's no dumb questions ever in this. Because I told her, I said, I'm sorry, I take this very seriously. I was like, how did that feel for you? Just, there's no dumb questions, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, it was pretty much what I expected. And I was like, okay, that's good, because like, if it wasn't, that's the hurdle we got to get over next, in both directions. Like, she shouldn't be too comfortable, but she should also not be afraid. So it was kind of right in the pocket I wanted her to be after driving around a parking lot for about an hour. So
Right.
yeah.
Whoa. So there's so many big pieces of news between the four of us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys got to take that off the list of things that you give me shit for now.
Oh, she still doesn't have her
Oh,
license.
no.
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 Hell no, to the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no, hell to the no.
No. And she's almost 18 years old. Until she has the permit and the license,
Yeah.
you're going to continue to get shit.
All
So
right, fair enough.
deal with
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
But I was going to say that is probably more driving than I did before I did behind the wheel through school. Mom or dad or anybody never really took me out driving.
No?
I remember my first day behind the wheel, I was using both feet.
Oh shit!
I
That's so
mean,
bad.
obviously we went through the sit down class at school
Yeah.
where they taught you through a book how to do it, but
Your first time sitting in the driver's
Driving
seat being
a car
responsible for
was-
moving a car.
in the class behind the wheel with 3 other students and a teacher,
Wow.
for
That's
sure.
crazy.
I'm
Scared
pretty,
to death.
pretty sure my first driving experience was with a light blue DX Beast at West Park.
Mm.
Hole 1.
Good
Mhm.
joke.
Pretty sure.
Mm.
Good.
Just trying to keep us talking about disc golf.
Yeah, we're keeping
Oh,
on brand.
No, man.
golf.
It is coming to that time of year where you get to take a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
What do you got? You guys have the Shanty Classic coming up, and what's after that?
Then we have J-Town Championships.
Oh, that's right. And then chilling. Oh, you got Delwood After Dark as well.
Delwood After Dark starting up. Are we jumping right into the Callahallander rundown right now?
I thought we were kind of throwing the format out the window on this one.
Let's do it.
It's
like,
tossed. Consider
Let's
it.
be like water. We'll flow wherever this
Flowing
episode
wherever.
goes.
Yeah. So yeah, event wise, we got Shanty Classic coming up, and then J-Town Champs after that. That's our last event of the Greater Joliet Tour Series,
Mhm.
and then we've got Delwood After Dark coming up. That'll start the first Wednesday in October and run for 8 weeks. So really excited about that. Everybody's everybody loves it. It's so hilarious. Like we always talk about, like we are not glow golfers. You couldn't
No,
pay
I
me
don't.
enough to go play
I
glow.
can't do it.
The idea of it is just not a good time for me.
You've never had a good time doing it.
I've had a good time because I'm hanging out with people that I like, but the concept of throwing in the dark where I cannot see, like it's no measure of my skill.
Totally.
I never
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I did that. I played well. Like it's just like a
Okay.
poke and hope. It's Highland hole 14 at Highland for 18 holes.
I see where you're coming from, but I would argue that it's like closer to cosmic bowling or mini golf. Like you wouldn't go to glow golf to show how good you are. It's just more of like the fun. Like you are pretty sure where the trees are and where the hole is, but when you throw, there's a certain amount of chance. Like, did I miss that tree? I don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Oh,
find
there's
out.
There's
Right.
plenty of chance when I play in the light.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair
So,
enough.
Yeah.
So, but it's, I don't like to play it, but I love to run this league because so many people
They
are
get
into
pumped.
playing glow. So I love
Yeah.
doing it for them. It's,
That begs
super
the
rewarding.
question of Hellwood.
Yes.
What's the deal? Is that what's going on?
I'm sure that will happen. We have not started that conversation because I don't want to be that guy that gets into the ear of the guy that we know is super busy right now.
Oh my
in
God! Yeah,
Halloween
this is
season,
the
like
biggest
this,
possible time. Of
this
year
would
for
be
him.
the worst time to reach
yeah,
out.
yeah.
And I mean, that's what we did last year too. We waited until Halloween season was over for them,
Got
and
you.
then kind of gave them a couple weeks, and then said, "Hey,
Yeah.
what's up, Kyle the Flamboy? How you doing?" And then
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, get over here. We'll check it." So I'm sure it will
Great.
happen. They have the facility. They wouldn't be doing any work because they'd be doing all that work now to get ready for this haunt season. So I'm sure they're going to be ready to rock.
They were tearing a couple rooms out to redo them.
True.
So we will have some new features, hopefully.
Well, we'll have
Maybe.
to go to the haunted house.
Yeah. Oh, we
maybe
should go.
record it.
We should go and do that.
Yes, we should definitely go to Hell's Gate.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm
That would be hilarious. I would love.
What
to
do
do
you think they would say to? I've been seeing all these videos of the Ballard guy, the Matt. What's his name? Has the best disc golf Instagram account.
Oh
in the
yeah,
world.
yeah. I
What's
know
his
who you're
name?
talking about. He was at Clash.
He had that video he put out the other day where he had the 360 camera while he's riding his like mini 4-wheeler through his house. Which like
I did
he's
not see
straight
that.
up, dude. He is an episode of Nitro Circus.
Yes, I saw the one where he had his arm hanging out of his car, just blasting through the
Yeah.
woods. Like I don't know what the hell was going on there, but
I could be wrong, but I think he's got the 360 degree camera in his mouth. And
I
then
think I've
he's
seen this too, yeah.
He rides it from inside his house to outside to like just cruising around. Anyways,
that's hilarious.
I'm thinking of that kind of video of us like with the 360 camera on us going through Hellwood.
It's pretty tight in there. I wonder how we could get that to work.
I don't think the 4-wheeler would work, but the camera.
No.
Yeah.
Could we mic ourselves up and record it that way?
I think it's so loud in there. I don't know if
Yeah.
anything would
Yeah.
work, but I would be willing to give it a shot. I've got the remote.
The audio to me is what would be the most hilarious because
Yeah.
you would be talking to yourself without even knowing that you're saying
Totally.
anything.
Yeah.
It'd just be a lot of me like.
Haunted houses are like at the top of the pile for me. I absolutely love to be scared. I love everything around them. Like that one place that started where they had the one scene that you stood in front of a strobe light and they would take one picture and post it on their webpage. And it was like, there was a scary
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
And there would be just people plastered up against a
Absolutely.
wall and
Yeah, or
scared
like-
out of their mind.
At their worst moments.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
that is
Yes.
absolutely one of the funniest things to me ever in life.
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
love this season for haunted houses alone.
I went to, I think it was the same people at that time, the one over at Cottonwood Farms, the Statesville Haunted Prison, whatever.
Yeah.
I did that one, and I remember going through it and having a good time, and I don't remember much about it. So I would love to go to Hell's Gate now
Mhm.
and know that we've been in there a bunch and like have seen it,
Right.
Mm.
not in the season, but
I bet it would be a lot of like, this feels different now.
yeah,
You know, a
totally.
lot of that.
Yeah. No, we need to do that.
I'm going to take a quick pause to let any newer listeners know this episode is completely different to what we normally do.
Yeah.
If you are literally like, if this is your first or second episode, just know there is a typical format to the show, and this one we're throwing it out the window and we're just kind of hanging out and catching up. So
Mhm.
Speaking of which, before I forget, Stu from Sandy Point
Yes.
texted me today.
Awesome.
First to say, I just added you to my phone contacts list. Is this Ryan, Sean, or Joe? Because he didn't know who was who, which is awesome. And then he said, nice. I just finished episode 3 of the podcast. Nice work with them. My late trivia answers for the middle names, I'm going with Saints, John, Anthony, and Christopher. So he got one right.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
And I said, oh man, if you liked those garbage first few episodes, you're really going to
Yeah,
like
strap
it when
in.
they get good.
oh, just wait till you guys start talking about Sandy Point. Like,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
and
yeah.
Tim, Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's he'll get into them, but
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Speaking of the format, because he's now going to start listening to Jason as well. And
Oh, nice.
I can't wait to hear what he
Are
says.
you gonna
Yeah.
drop
Oh,
a
yes.
bunch of like lightsaber sounds and Star Wars phaser
Totally,
sounds?
absolutely,
What we're
yeah.
talking about right now.
Yeah.
with Halloween, this probably should have been my fired up as well. Liz and I just bought a house as well. Totally inspired by
No big
Ryan.
deal.
When you showed me the pictures of your new house, just something in me moved. I was like, I want that so bad. Ideally, it would have been in Lockport. That's where I was really looking.
We tried, but you know,
Yeah.
you didn't
Yeah.
listen, and
I definitely listened. It's actually, the funny thing is, in conversations with my new therapist, which I mentioned a couple episodes ago,
Mhm.
which is going really well.
Which
Thanks
was
for-
at least 56 days
Thanks
ago.
for asking.
Yeah.
He asked, like, what is your ideal state? Like, living, working, tell me, like, your
Arizona?
dream scenario.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm not embarrassed to tell you this, but the truth is, dream scenario, Lockport, Illinois. If I could live anywhere in the world, Lockport, Illinois. Literally, if you said I
Oh
could
my
live in
God,
Fiji or
dude.
any place,
yeah,
I just want to live in Lockport, Illinois. That's it.
that's dope.
It's where all the stuff that I like is. It's like I
Aw.
like the people.
Aw.
I like
I like it
everything
too,
about
bud.
it here.
We like you too, dog.
Anyways, we bought in Midlothian, which is closer to Lockport than I was before. It's
Far
about
closer.
Yes.
33 minutes away now. And it's a very cute house. It's our first time
Got a
owning
little
house.
half circle drive.
Is it at least
Adorable.
on the west side of Midlothian? So you're
I
kind
don't
of
know my
closer?
directions very
No?
well.
All right, very good.
I'm very
So
close
probably
to,
not.
Very
No.
close to
He's
like
not too far from Aunt Paula and Uncle Dean's house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Do you know where Hog
Where are we
Wild
going
is?
on
That barbecue place?
No.
Very close to that. Also very close to, I think it's Bremen High School.
Oh, I know Bremen.
That is in
Oh,
my
okay.
backyard.
Okay.
From the
Then I know
backyard, I
where
could
you're
hear the
at.
band. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to hear football games every single weekend.
Highly recommend the pepper and egg sandwich from Hog Wild.
Ooh,
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
But I'm pumped about the fact that there's a forest preserve right across the street, Midlothian Meadows, and Tommy Arianautsos. How do you pronounce that last name?
Arianautsis.
Yeah.
Tommy Arianautsis. He ran an
Arianautsis?
event
Sure.
Okay.
Tommy A ran an event at that course, or at that Forest Reserve, in 2016. I heard from Steve Ratchin that the layout was super dope. So I'm going to reach out. Well, Tommy actually already said he'd send me the layout. So we'll work on a pop-up event or something next year. Really what I'm working on is trying to get permanent courses at multiple Forest Reserve sites in the next couple of years. And that's probably going to be on my list because it's very close to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
A lot of stuff going on, but my transition, the reason I got to this is the first time I'm ever going to care about decorating the house for Halloween. Never cared about decorating for Halloween ever before, but now I want to have a house that people are excited to go up to. People are excited to drive by.
Yeah.
I went to Menards. I was looking at like gigantic decorations, like werewolves, and dude.
That seems to be like the new It decoration is like the big
giant
werewolves and the skeletons. And
They're great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't buy that blow up shit. There's something about
it's a little
those.
lame, right?
That's totally lame. Please don't buy that stuff.
We went really hard when we bought our first house, the first couple of years. Like I made tombstones and they all read like funny, limericks and shit, but they all had to do with all the neighbors that we had. Like,
Oh, that's great.
I thought way into it and got, went really hard. And now we turn the lights off and go trick or treating. I can't do it anymore.
Sheila does subtle stuff, which I always appreciate.
Yeah, that stuff's cool, but we don't go. I mean, our neighbors 2 doors down at our new house, they've already got the giant 12-foot skeleton, and they did it September 1.
Yeah.
That's a little early.
Oh, yeah.
So
No way.
they're crazy for it, but
The best time of year.
October 1st, that day is Scary Movie Day it starts.
Yeah.
I watch scary movies every day through October.
Sure.
And I'm getting into it, but not before that.
We watched Orphan for the first time the other day. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, that's a
Solid.
That's unsettling.
I don't know why I missed it the first time around.
Where it was like a grown woman, right?
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Very good.
I mean, it's called Orphan, for Christ's sake. You could have figured it out in 2 guesses.
Right.
I
There's
did
going to be a
not.
twist.
I didn't know until the very end. I was like, what?
She's
And then
35?
we a week later we did the prequel, the new one that just came out
What's that called?
called Orphan First Kill. They got
Well done.
it's the same actress and they like de-aged her and stuff for it, and it's
I
a
hate that.
prequel too. But it's really good. It's done
And there's
pretty
no
well.
connection
Nice.
to Rambo First Kill.
No, not at all. That's First Blood. But,
That would be another cool twist.
uh-huh. That
She
takes
was actually
off
in
her-
Vietnam.
She takes off her mask, and it was Sylvester Stallone the whole time.
Son of a bitch.
Did you guys see the decoration of that? It's like the Stranger Things decoration. It's like that scene where Max is like elevated. It's the running up that hill. That whole scene.
Mhm.
Somebody made the decoration in their front yard where it's like Max like
Like
up in
that?
the air.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
shit.
they suspended like fishing line from their house to the neighbor's house, and then fishing line.
Down.
To this
Down,
mannequin,
like
yeah.
folding up the dummy.
People are coming from miles around trying to figure out how is this thing floating. Like
That's dope.
Ooh.
Yeah.
until somebody explained it to me, it was like a neighbor who lived in the neighborhood. He's like, "Here's how they did it." I was staring at photos. I was googling like, "How did he do it?" It looks awesome.
I love that.
Wow, that's cool.
I love the pictures of the cops like coming over to people's houses because they have the decorations of like wrapped up dead bodies in garbage bags
Yeah.
and shit.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Jeez.
And the neighbors call
Yeah.
the cops.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's good stuff. How can you bring disc golf into Halloween decorations?
last year I took an old disc. It was a nuke,
Mhm.
a Discraft nuke.
Oh, that's scary.
That yeah, it is. No. That we found in
It's scary because you should never be throwing a nuke.
in old West Park Hole 16 down in that sludge pit, and somebody had
Is that the
written
Poon Slayer
yeah,
one?
somebody had written in
The
Sharpie.
what?
It said Poon Slayer on it. So I kept it for a long time because I thought it was funny.
Oh, it's
But
great.
it was finally time to do something with it. So I took that and another old broken up disc and I stapled them together into like a figure 8 shape and spray painted it black and took some branches and made a giant spider.
Oh,
That's
fair
cool.
enough. That's cool.
And it turned out great.
Yeah.
So there you go. Disc golf Halloween.
You wouldn't do like a skeleton throwing at a tent basket in the front yard that's all
That's a great idea.
spookily lit up or something like that. Yeah.
Jason, I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
A couple years ago at Sandy Point, Ryan and I were convinced that one of the baskets looked like it was made out of bones.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's true. The ghost basket.
Can we get
I
some
won't
Sandy
say
Point?
why we thought it looked like it was made out of bones.
Oh boy.
You can come to your own conclusions.
Can we get some Sandy Point highlights from this year? Here's what I remember
Right.
from the last couple of visits. It was 2 years ago. You missed the mark.
Yes.
Last
because
year,
we stayed in the Mark.
In
Oddly
the
enough,
Mark, yeah.
Which
right.
the name of the cabin
Weird.
is the Mark, MARQ.
very weird.
Yeah.
Yes,
Last year you went back and like the magic was back.
Magic was back.
How did we do this year?
I would say the magic didn't hit as hard as last year, but it was a good solid trip.
Yeah.
I think we've made some permanent decisions based on this trip this year about the courses that we stop at and play. We had played Rolling Ridge and Standing Rocks on the way up, and we had done that for several years, and then we stopped doing it for like 3 years and hadn't played Rolling Ridge. And this year we thought, let's go back because we haven't been there in a while,
yeah.
and it was fun, right?
Yeah.
And we went back, and by hole 5 we were like,
That's why we didn't come here.
yeah,
anymore.
we're not
Yeah.
going to do this again.
Uh,
And so it was good to play, but it wasn't. I don't feel like it's trip worthy anymore.
Can I
Like,
tell the story
please?
without
Yeah,
calling anybody out?
sure.
So we pulled up, and we could tell right away that it was pretty busy. So keep in mind, we've been doing, everybody knows we've been doing this trip a long time. So we've been doing this trip way before COVID disc golf, right? So
Our 11th year.
everywhere we go, we have the place
You
to
were there for
ourselves.
COVID 14.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we pull in, and we could tell right away that it's busy because it's kind of like you pull in and you drive by hole 1, and there was a big group and then another big group right behind them. So we're like,
And we're such prima donnas about it because
Yeah.
there's one other person on the course, and we're like,
Yeah.
well, forget it then.
yeah, we're on vacation, guys. Like, go somewhere else, dude.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that we love Donnie, but Donnie is the worst of the 4 of us with any type of other people being around, right?
Adaptation to change
Yes,
doesn't
exist.
immediately
Tell that Donnie's like, oh,
Is he uncomfortable? Is he angry, or what's the deal?
I can't. I don't know. I
He's
can't
just, like,
really.
not himself.
Yes, like he just wants it to be the boys and like
Right.
just us in our bubble.
It's
Which-
such a tradition for
Yes,
him that
yes,
anything.
yes. Which I appreciate and I'm on board with, like for
Yeah.
sure. I felt the
He
same,
does-
but
he doesn't play much outside of this trip, does he?
yeah, not as much as we do.
Yeah, his rhythms get off, and he's
Yeah.
distracted, and it's not a mental space for
Yeah.
him when there's other things going on.
We can all appreciate that. I feel the same way. It just doesn't affect me as much. So we deal with that, and we get over to hole 1, and then all of a sudden Garb and Nikki Gernot come out of the woodwork, and they're all saying hi, and it was like, whoa, like we always expect to run into somebody, right?
Yeah, because the Sandy Point Northwoods Open
And
is
you
that
guys-
weekend.
You guys
Yes.
intentionally go up after the
Yes.
big rush.
But we meet people that are coming on the way back,
Sure.
Yeah.
right? And so
So we get through hole 1, and we kind of like dicked around a little while to like let those larger groups go. But by hole 2, immediately we were behind another large group, and it was like 5 dudes and a dog. And they were older guys, and they seemed nice enough. So we walked up after playing hole 1, and we were a foursome. And I thought right away, like,
They'll let us play through.
yo, like, hey guys, what's up? Like,
Yep.
it seems busy, but like, yo, can we play through? And we're just going to kind of hop along because, we just play faster.
Yeah.
We just, in general, we play faster than the 4 of us play faster than any other group.
we know
I've-
each other, and we're very efficient in the
Yeah,
way that we
we're
play
efficient
without rushing.
golfers.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's not a rush for us. To other people, it would seem like we're rushing. It's not a rush for us. And they were like, oh, I don't know, man. Like, there's a big group ahead of us. I don't really see the point of you, playing through. And they basically just like said no.
Yeah, and the guy was like, "You could relax."
Yeah.
like
So it was
That's-
like,
Now I want to do the
yeah,
opposite of relax.
now,
Yeah.
like, I just want to leave, and we've only played 1 hole. Like, this, what
Wow.
the hell, right? So we ended up being stuck behind this massive group the entire time.
So there's a loop where you could play 9, and then you kind of get back to the clubhouse, and then you start on 10 and play the rest of the thing. So we took a quick break, went to the van, came back, and we're like, okay, let's let them get ahead or whatever. Maybe they're at the clubhouse. We'll beat them to hole 10. And we get to hole 10, and they've added another guy.
Oh, God.
And they kept saying, guys, you're just going to have to wait. There's people ahead of us. And there was not.
And what's funny is that the
What?
people ahead of them was Garb, Nikki Gernot, and everybody else that we knew that we had already just talked to. So, like, if anything, we would have played behind them for a couple of holes and then been like, all right,
Hey, Garb, we're going to
yeah,
jump.
get out of the way, Garb. We're going to jump through. And
Yeah.
like, so it just really put a bad taste in my mouth. And I don't want to call him out, but I have a feeling that one of the people in that group, and they were real kind of douchey about it, was one of the owners. And it was like, I don't own Delwood Park, right? But like, I still kind of wear that hat. Like I am the guy that everybody like would come to if there was a problem, if there was anything,
Sure.
And there's a certain thing that you do when you are that guy, whether you own it or not. And
Mhm.
it's, hey, where are you guys from? That's cool. I don't know who you are. I know all the locals. It seems like there's a lot of locals here, but
Let me be a bit of a host.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was that never even came to the front of the conversation. It was just like, no, relax. You guys are trying to, who are you to tell us how we should be enjoying our time here? That's really weird. Like, we like to play at a certain pace, and that is our happiness.
Yeah.
So you are completely ruining this for us. So that was kind of shitty. It was like the vibes immediately at the first time we were playing on the trip were like off, but it wasn't.
You said one of the owners, like, I thought it was my
possibly.
cousin's
I don't want to call anybody out, but I do think that one of the people in that group was one of the owners of Rolling Ridge, because it's a private property.
Oh, you guys
Rolling
were,
Ridge
this
is-
was at Rolling Ridge.
Rolling Ridge.
I thought this was at Sandy Point.
No. This is first stop. This is like 3 hours into the trip.
Gotcha.
We
Mhm.
left Sunday morning and then went straight to Rolling Ridge.
And then that threw off the vibe.
Yeah, it threw off the vibe a bit. And it was like, all right, let's shake it off. And,
Yeah.
went up to Wilderness.
Wilderness was phenomenal as always.
Then we had the place to ourselves.
Yeah, there was
Which we always do.
nobody. Yeah, that place is an enigma. It is it's one of the best courses we've ever been to. Like,
Mhm.
maintained wise, I don't understand how, because there's no one there. It's
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere. There's a campground that's associated with it, with like a little pond, and like you can rent cabins and stuff. But man, you'd think like it was Labor Day
Mhm.
or Labor Day weekend. Like you
The
think it would
campground
be,
itself was like
jammed.
packed.
Yeah, but nobody on the course,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. And then we played.
Funny how that is, though. Like, you go to 2 different private properties. One that is disc golf focused and you can camp.
Mhm.
One is camping focused and you can play disc golf. And the disc golf at the latter of the two is significantly better.
Wow.
Significantly, yes. And then we played Standing Rocks the next day, which was, of course, what Standing Rocks always is. It's great.
Yep.
I love playing there. And then we hit it up to Sandy Point. It was cool. The weather at Sandy Point was primo. Every 2 hours, we just kept saying to ourselves, "This is perfect."
It was the best weather I think I've ever had on the trip.
Yeah,
Almost too hot.
yeah. It
Because-
was 73 to 75 degrees, barely any wind, not humid, but just like you were playing in a dome. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was
Yeah.
great.
Can I talk about the weather on my vacation?
Yes.
Because that's another thing that happened while we were away. It was 112 degrees in Vegas the entire time I was there.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God. That's
Yeah.
your,
I mean, I was only
that's
there
your
for
favorite,
2.5
dog.
days.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was not my favorite. It was like standing in a convection oven. 10 o'clock at night when we go out, the sun's down, 105 still.
Dude.
Come on.
Crazy.
And what is the
thanks.
climate like? Is that a very dry heat?
Yes,
there?
and that's
Is
what
it-
everybody says. Like, oh, but it's a dry heat. Like, doesn't matter
No,
at
it
110.
I've been to hot, dry areas, and I would say it's worse because your clothes immediately, it's like someone stuck a vacuum under your shirt, and your shirt just sucks to your skin when it's a dry heat. It's
Yeah.
so bizarre. I didn't care for it at all. I hate dry heat.
So, I will never go back to anywhere hot in the summer. Like, this is the second time I've made this mistake. I went to New Orleans once in July, but we enjoyed Vegas a lot. I lost a little money, but we saw the Beatles Love show, the Cirque du Soleil show. Best thing I've ever seen, and I'm convinced I will never see another show that incredible. Go to Vegas just to see that show.
Wow.
I've never seen a show in Vegas, let alone
Yeah.
something like that.
Dude,
Right.
Liz and I were like, should we take mushrooms for this show?
Yeah.
And halfway through, we were like, I'm so glad we didn't take mushrooms. Because it felt like it feels like you're hallucinating
Yeah.
sober. Like you're constantly looking around. It's designed to even all through your peripherals, there's stuff happening. So you look like, oh shit, look at that dude up by the ceiling. Like there's always something happening. And I don't want to spoil too much, but I will say one part, at one point, these giant sheets come out of the center of the stage, and they come out and they go all the way across the entire arena. So there's a sheet over your head, and it's just waving around, and there's lights and stuff. So literally you're touching the sheet, and everything around you is like you're in a visual.
Yeah.
And then it sucks the sheets suck all the way back into the floor, and they just disappear.
Wow.
It's nuts, dude.
Oh,
It's
that's
I
cool.
can't.
Had you been on mushrooms, it
Yeah.
would have
Right.
been
Yeah.
a disaster.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right.
You would have felt like you got sucked in there with the sheets. How do I get out of this? How do I get out of this?
Like that scene in This Is 40 when they go to the show. Isn't that This Is
No,
40?
you're thinking
No.
of Knocked
No.
Up.
Is it knocked up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it is definitely.
Which is why I asked Liz, like, should we do that?
Paul Rudd?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that trip was dope. And then we went to the Pacific Northwest, the PNW.
I know what that means now.
The pipsqueak. What did you say?
Nincompoop-weenus?
The pipsqueak nincompoop-weenus. Yeah. First time going up
Pollywog niblet wasted.
I can't believe how beautiful it is.
It's the best, man.
Yeah, we went to Mount Rainier. I had a quick night in Seattle. Crazy how expensive Seattle is. $50 to take an Uber from the airport to my hotel, which was 15 minutes away.
Wow.
$50 ride.
13 or 14 years ago is when I last lived there. And it was a fifth the cost to live there.
Sure.
Like I could catch a bus from right outside our apartment for $1.25 and be downtown in 12 minutes.
In my day.
Yeah. And like Uber didn't exist at that point. So I don't know what it would have cost, but it could not have been much. And like everything was reasonably priced, and like we should have just bought a house there. I mean,
my God,
we'd be millionaires.
Then I wouldn't know you.
Yeah, right. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and the vibe was great. The food was great. So we spent the night there. Then we headed up to Mount Rainier, and there was this outdoor wedding at this mountain resort. Liz and I had our own like cabin. It was an absolutely beautiful wedding. I'll show you guys the video of it later. Yeah. Just could not believe how pretty it is out there. I wish I could have played some disc golf. Why don't we? There's a lot of good stuff in the mailbag. So why don't we take a break, hear from our sponsors? We'll come back, get into the mailbag.
When are we going to hear from our sponsors?
Right now.
Hey guys, it's Andy O'Day, AO the Mortgage Pro, here to help with all your mortgage needs. I work with over 15 different lenders, so whether you're looking to buy a home or refinance, if you got perfect credit or even not so perfect credit, I will find a product and the interest rate that fits you best. We can do all the normal conventional FHA, USDA, and VA loans, but we have cool products like no income loans, investment loans, even renovation loans. As always, if you mention Unstable Discourse, you'll get a choice, either a free appraisal credit up to $500 or a travel basket. Shoot me a message and we can get this conversation started. Also, listen to my podcast, Amortize This. You'll learn more about the industry, my team, and our amazing guests. You guys can find me on all social media platforms at AO the Mortgage Pro, and check out my website, aothemortgagepro.com.
Hey, Disc Golf family, it's Andrew Weary with Redemption Disposal and Recycling. If you need a dumpster, we are your go-to local contact. Are you getting a new roof, remodeling your house, or doing some landscaping? Maybe you're just looking to get rid of the old junk to make room for your new hyzer racks and disc golf gear. Redemption Disposal's standard-sized dumpsters are large enough for most jobs. The 15-yard dump trailers are on regular tires and hauled by standard pickup trucks, helping avoid any damage to surfaces, allowing for tight maneuvering, and the compact style helps minimize any inconvenience to homeowners. Our convenient and speedy service is unmatched, all at a competitive price. You can find us on Facebook at Redemption Disposal or email admin@redemptiondisposal.com. We look forward to helping you out with your future projects, but until then, we'll see you out on the course.
Listen to Unstable Discourse on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, or right from unstablediscourse.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have the time, leave us a rating and review, or just tell a friend. It helps the podcast get to more listeners.
How about them sponsors? I gotta say a shout out to AO the Mortgage Pro. That is who helped me buy this house, this one, and probably the next one as well.
Wow.
I was telling you guys before we took a break that he made it so easy that I was suspicious the whole time that like they can't be this easy.
We had to have screwed something.
There must
He's
be
not
something
doing
we're
his
overlooking.
job.
Yeah.
What'd we miss?
But every step through the process where we like met the next person that we had to work with, they were like, just so you know, Andy is really good at his job. I was like, oh, that explains why this has been so easy. All the way through to the closing. He came to the closing with us, and the lawyers were like, just so you know, he's really good at this. And we're like, apparently, yeah, he just made it so easy for us. So listeners, not just saying it because he's a sponsor. I used Andy to buy a house, and he made it so freaking easy. Now, we are going to introduce a new segment called Magic Mouth. Ryan, what's Magic Mouth?
Let me show you. So LL over there in the corner, make some noise. Oh, there she is. She brought a miracle fruit tablet for each of us to try. This is supposed to heighten your and change your perception of what your taste buds are doing, apparently. So she has set out a charcuterie board of fruits, a charfruiterie, if you will.
If you will.
And some radishes, along with some sport peppers and grapefruits and apples and oranges. And we are supposed to dissolve these tablets in our mouths, and it's supposed to change how everything tastes. Yeah. So we're going to do that live on the air. And if it sucks, you'll never know because I will have cut it out.
Right.
So we're going to dissolve that tablet.
Correct.
And then all of that tart and fruity tasting stuff is going to taste salty?
It's just going to change. I don't know what to expect.
Sour. So I did a little bit of Googling. What we're about to do is it actually has a name. It's called flavor tripping. There's a name for it. Yeah. And one of the effects is sour things taste sweet. So imagine a lemon, lime, probably the sourest things that you could eat as far as a fruit is concerned.
We have a couple of
grapefruits
those
up there as well.
Yeah, grapefruits. Okay.
Just dissolve this on our tongues?
Not.
We have to. Okay, you drank the water.
Yep.
You
You
got
have
some
to
water.
cleanse your palate first. You've done that. You
Cleanse
got
the palate. Okay.
whole bottle of water. So drink a tall
Commence the cleansing.
glass of water.
Does it say to drink a whole bottle of water?
Yeah.
I mean, just to.
That's good health anyway.
Yeah. Who needs water?
Hydrate.
For about 2 weeks while we were on our hiatus, our 58-day hiatus.
56.
56
Get it
day
right.
hiatus.
6 days.
I drank a gallon of water a day for 2 weeks.
Results?
I lost about 6 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
And spent every day talking about how hydrated he was because his pee was clear.
It was clear. Yeah. I had the clearest pee
Guaranteed.
ever.
Every time you were like, dude, I'm super hydrated right now.
I took, I went on, I had Mandy go on Amazon and buy me some
Dye for your pee so it looks normal.
some cleansing pills for your, they say we all carry around about 20 pounds of poop in our intestines.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you take these pills and it gets rid of all of that.
Yeah.
And it did to an extent. I kind of, by the 5th day,
You were keeping
I'd
it,
had
measuring
enough.
it every day and just
Yeah.
going, well, it's not 20
Yeah,
pounds
it's just,
yet.
he's still got it in a bucket. Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you just pooping all day?
I thought that was going to be the case. Normally, I'm a pretty regular guy.
Oh, that's the dream.
Like,
Yeah, but you
If
say
I-
that, and I know that you
if I
you
eat,
poop every time you eat. Dude.
Yeah.
That's not regular. That's weird.
no, that is completely
No one
regular.
else does that.
No,
something
how I am,
goes
too.
in, something's supposed to come out.
Something ain't right with
yes. No,
Something ain't right.
that's regular.
Is it ever like you eat and then it's an emergency, you have to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
I've been
I
in
am,
that
too.
situation where it's I could start a timer and I've got about 30 minutes and it's like I ate a big meal. I
Yep.
should be near a restroom soon.
I know that life.
So yeah, I did that while we were on hiatus.
All right.
Dissolve
here we
on
go.
tongue.
Here we go.
One.
So they're little pills. They came in like little things. Okay, we're doing it now. We have to dissolve these on our tongues and in our mouths.
Oh, it tastes good.
Whoa. You had a big flavor right out of the bat.
Fruity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a dehydrated strawberry or dehydrated raspberry.
That's a good way to describe it.
It's almost like a runt.
Like if Whole Foods made runts. Because it's
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
it's very,
Very
like,
organic.
This is organic.
Mm-hmm.
Banana's the best runt, by the way.
Shut the up.
Agreed.
I don't want
They
any
sell them
other
by
runts.
themselves, dude.
Oh, the little heart, that is good.
That one's
The hearts are
strawberry.
good.
I think it goes banana, heart, orange, red.
Cherry. Don't get me started on runs.
Ugh.
When they
It's been a
changed,
long
when they
time
changed
since
from
I've had
lime
runs.
to apple, that was kind of a big
Well,
deal.
Halloween's coming back.
But
That
then
is
they
right.
changed
Apple's
Runt
way
season.
better. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk
you
about
think,
Halloween candies right now?
Hey, future Ryan,
Mhm.
when you're editing this, how does it sound that I'm very like I'm talking very like?
Oh, I'm going to
juicy
cut most of this out.
and a lot of lip smacky
Mhm.
kind of.
It's like my favorite thing in the world to listen to. Mhm.
Best candy when you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You go, trick or treating. What are you rooting for every time you go to a house? Like, what do
Reese's
you
cups
hope-
and Kit Kats.
Fun dip.
Wow, that's
I'm with Jason.
Reese's,
That's no
Snickers.
fun dip until I was like 7,
Mhm.
and then chocolate after that. Little kid, give me that Lickamaid, the fun dip.
Why did they never just sell the sticks? The
Right.
sticks were the best
The
part.
sticks were great. Yeah,
That like subtle vanilla flavor that
Mhm.
those sticks had.
absolutely.
It was just absolutely out of this world. They should just sell a row of the sticks in paper, tear
All
one
right.
off, chew on it all day.
Just the sticks.
Opposite end. What's the candy that you were like, God, please don't put that in my bag?
Pencils.
Anybody that's giving out pencils on Halloween,
Right.
Yeah.
that's
Right.
a bad
Three
person.
Musketeers. I've never liked Three Musketeers.
Just nougat. Yeah.
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 Do you know why it's called Three Musketeer?
Is there a Todd?
Guys,
Packer?
think about it.
I don't know. The D'Artagnan. Is it something around their names? Go on, trivia man.
Because before all of us were born, the Three Musketeers came in 3 flavors in one pack. It was Neapolitan. There was a chocolate nougat, a strawberry nougat, and a vanilla nougat. And today's Three Musketeers is just the vanilla nougat. But it was originally
I would have thrown down on strawberry.
3 pieces.
I'd be
It's
stoked
like
on
Charleston Chew has
Yeah.
a strawberry. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's why it's called Three Musketeers. The name stuck, even though they got rid of the other 2 flavors.
Oh, bring it
No,
back.
no
Okay.
love for Three Musketeers.
I'm ready.
But my answer would have been the little orange peanut.
Oh, the circus,
Circus
peanuts?
Yeah.
Oh, those are kind of legit.
no,
I mean, I'm not
I
like
like the
stoked that I
texture.
got them, but
Never legit.
Tootsie Rolls end up in the bottom of the pillowcase in December.
Tootsie Rolls? We're
Yeah.
not friends anymore,
No,
man.
Tootsie Rolls are good.
They're good, but
Yes.
I'm going to eat everything else first. That's what ends up left over. I'm
With
not
the
going
pencils.
Tootsie Rolls first.
Tootsie Rolls and pencils.
Tootsie Rolls and pencils, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Tootsie Rolls kind of taste like wood a little bit.
All right.
All right,
You're
let's do this.
dissolved.
Yep.
What are you going to try first?
Give me the apple. Let's go.
Green or red?
Just give me a regular red apple.
Mine's not fully dissolved yet.
Yeah, I'm almost there.
Before I take a bite, I'm just trying to read Ryan's face.
I'm eating candy.
Crazy sweeter.
Yeah.
Crazy sweeter.
At first, I was like, this changed nothing. Then it
Whoa.
felt like somebody poured sugar on my tongue.
I'm eating apple candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a lime. I would rather.
Wait a second. Are you guys about to take a bite out of a lemon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Never done that in my life. I cannot imagine doing that right now.
Here we go with the lime.
You're just eating it?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh my God. Okay.
Pass me a snozzberry.
You know what I bet they taste like?
Snozzberry. Oh, that's a beet. Or a radish. Which one is it?
Oh, limes are so good.
Lemon is still kind of
It's too bad we don't have any glizzies left over. Wonder what those taste like on these things.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Give me a sliver of grapefruit. I can't
lemon.
handle grapefruit without sugar, so this is gonna be fun.
I don't want to bite it. I just.
It's almost too much.
Whoa!
It's so overpoweringly sweet.
Whoa!
That is crazy.
Alex's face is phenomenal.
There's nothing sour about the lemon,
No,
but it is overpoweringly sweet.
Whoa. Oh, I'll do it one more time.
the grapefruit is. You guys gotta try the grapefruit.
Yeah. Oh, I missed. Ooh. Pass me a lime, Sean.
That's
or you know what?
crazy.
Green apple.
No, thank you. No.
Green apples are typically pretty tart and sour.
To be fair, I've never bit into a lemon before, so that just might be my normal lemon reaction.
No.
The green apple tastes exactly like a green apple runt.
The radishes are still
Really?
Redishy.
We're all gonna have.
green apples, super sweet.
Yeah, I really love apples with this.
Tastes exactly like
Yeah.
a green apple.
Will
Rum.
somebody take a bite of the glizzy? I want to see if there's
No.
an effect.
First of all, there aren't any glizzies here. There's
I
hot
love
dogs
I
here.
love hearing that people are just tagging you in glizzy posts at this point.
Almost to a point where it's taking me off of Facebook. All right, now I'll have a lime, please.
Man, apples are just 10 times more delicious.
This has got to be the best possible content for listeners.
It's gonna end.
Aren't
up
you guys super into this thing you can't even understand? Who's gonna bite
What
that? Who's gonna test the chili
No.
pepper?
You are the hot person so far on the show.
Thank you.
Like I don't mean in the way that Michael thinks Ryan's hot.
Mhm.
I mean in the way that you just eat spicy things while we're recording.
I can
Can
smell
I try that barbecue sauce?
Is it hot? But like worse hot?
Maybe. Yeah.
Damn. I have a feeling that barbecue is just. I bet that barbecue is just good, normal, but that is incredible.
Ooh, barbecue sauce is
That is good.
Is it super sweet?
really good.
Yeah.
It's just making everything sweet, right?
Ooh, cheese.
Yep.
Different,
Further research is required.
unchanged.
Yeah, it tastes less. I just taste less cheese.
Less cheese.
Yeah, it just
The
tastes-
cheese tastes like less cheese. That's very
That's
accurate.
The only way I can describe what just happened.
It like cancels.
How
the cheese
long
out.
does this last for now?
2 weeks.
Shut up.
Mm.
Is it hours? Because I do. If it's hours, I want to try to just bite into a block of cheddar when I get home.
It's 30 minutes to an hour is
Oh, okay.
what I thought I read. I don't know. I'm totally flavor tripping right now, so I could be saying anything. I don't know.
Well, that was really worthwhile content for those listeners.
Does anybody
It's gonna
else
end up
feel
getting
like their
cut.
tongue is made of bones?
No, thank God.
That pepper's hot. The pepper's hot.
All right. So while I expect most of what just happened to be cut out, I do want to bring up the fact that Scott Stokely has a line of barbecue sauce now, in case you don't know. I ordered it. I've tried one of the 4, and it's good. but I want to do a flavor. I want to do something with that sauce on the show before the end of the season.
Sure.
Yeah, next time, bring it up. I'll order it. Let me know what it is.
Yeah, I got that along with his book, which I need to start reading. It's also his signature series tour disc, which I think is a maiden.
Maiden?
Okay. The book is interesting. It doesn't read, how do I explain it? It reads like his
Inner monologue.
Yeah, like his line of thought. Rather, it's interesting.
I'm okay with that because just listening to him on live streams or what, like he's very off the top of his head with everything, and I feel like it's pretty well organized. Like he's a good communicator.
I want to know if because some people can do this, and I definitely can't. But there are so many names that he drops in that book. It's hundreds. It must be. Did he research and edit and go back, to try and find, or is he just one of those guys that was like, oh yeah, in 1978 we did this with this guy and he was here and they were here and she was there? Because there's so many names that by the end you're like, I don't remember anybody. Yeah, so it's super interesting to me to read that and to have him interact with so many people and have it be that accurate.
So I'm going to be the asshole that I don't know who you guys are talking about. Like, what is his relevance?
Scott Stokely was like one of the first touring pros and one of the first sponsored players by Discraft.
Okay.
And
going back to like 70s, sounds like. Is what
not 70s, but
think 90s. More like
90s. Okay.
So back when touring was, they would give you a couple dozen discs and you would hawk them on the side and try and find a bus somewhere that got to the next C tier or B tier so that you could win enough money to continue to tour. And in between, you were given clinics to whoever might show up and try and sell some gear. And really he's putting barbecue sauce on an apple. So
I'm experimenting, baby.
Yeah, really with zero money. But he came from, a punk kid learning how to play from some of the super old school beginners of disc golf.
Okay.
And started touring. And then he became a world record distance thrower. There's a lot to it. It's a huge story. And he got caught up in some stuff. And he's now back.
He's got this resurgence of his career where he's the old guy on tour right now.
He's the old guy, but he's competing with the young guns. He's not competing in the age protected divisions. He's competing in MPO.
Okay.
But he's also advocating for autism awareness.
Okay.
Which is why he had his hair dyed blue at one point, and he was kind of trying to make a big, resurgence and make a big stink on Facebook to show everybody that he was back, and ruffled some feathers doing that. But he just seems like he's got his heart in the right place now, and he seems to be trying to compete and raise awareness for autism and do whatever he can. He's donating all of his winnings all the time.
Wow.
To whatever he can, and yeah, it's an incredible story to read and to listen to, and for him to be still doing it at his age is great. So, is
that why feathers were ruffled? Well, I mean, why would anybody have an issue with somebody coming back and?
It's a lot of what he said. Like he was a real, to put it bluntly, he was a real cocky asshole when he was on tour.
I see.
Originally,
okay,
and he had a right to be because he was really good at the time. When he started his comeback, he was saying a lot of things that maybe people were taking the wrong way, like saying that he was going to beat Paul Macbeth, and
to a new generation, myself included, that were like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do research to figure out, not saying that what he was saying wasn't true, but like when you've been gone as long as he was, it was like, who are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you have the right to come back and say what you're saying? But his story is really interesting. The book is really neat. It's a really good introspective look at his life on tour and how disc golf evolved as he saw it. Yeah, you're going to get a
You've read it?
Very cool.
No shit. I know everything about you. I didn't know that.
I read it a couple of years ago. Last year? So it was a while ago.
You tell me when you read books. Do you understand me?
No.
You left out the part where he looks like Frankenstein when he throws a disc.
He does.
He's got like a very stand. I don't know. It's like stiff looking.
Yeah, it's a very old school way of throwing a disc. He's huge forehand thrower. I mean, obviously massive distance. He doesn't have as much anymore, but at the when he was younger, it was incredible.
How much money did he win at the skins match in the?
Oh yeah.
Was that last fall or this spring? Was it
1,500 maybe?
I know it was thousands.
Yeah, it was a lot. He killed it. Like I think he was just there for entertainment value, but then he just destroyed it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't remember how much, but
My last fun
was
fact
much money.
about Scott Stokely is he wants to be on this show.
he does.
Oh, really?
He followed up with me on Instagram not that long ago, like, hey, when am I going to come on the show? And I was like, whenever you're in town, dude. Like, we'll
Wow.
make it happen.
Oh, that's cool.
I connected with him on Clubhouse. Remember when that app was a thing I was trying to get us all to do?
Yes.
There was, a couple different disc golf Clubhouse rooms, and he was in one of them. And so I was just chatting with him a little bit, and he ended up checking out the show. And then he's like, yeah, I'd love to do it. And I forgot all about it. And then for him to follow up later, like, hey, are we still going to do that? And I was like, dude, you've gotten bigger since we last talked, and you want to get on the show? That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, how about we get into the mailbag?
We can do that.
Yeah.
Is that because it's
Mail time.
Mail time.
mail time?
God damn it, Jason.
What
You go
did
last.
I do?
Start over.
You go last.
You go last.
Oh, it just felt. I don't know. I thought we were going around the table. All right. I won't screw up this time. Do it again.
Mail time.
Mail time. Ah,
I knew it.
sorry.
Knew it.
All right. No,
Uh-huh.
I got it. Third time's a charm. Let's do
Yeah.
this. That's because it's.
Ma-
Why are you doing it lower every time?
I don't know.
I'm trying to see how low I can get him to go.
Yeah.
Mail time.
Mail time.
Mail time.
All right.
Jason, take us into the mailbag.
And we are back in it. All right. We actually had a pretty good mailbag. There was a
Yeah,
lot of
I was.
questions. in there.
Hey.
Thank you, listeners.
It
Thank you,
takes
followers.
56 days for people to
Right.
think of
To finally come
new
up with
They have
stuff.
to
Yeah.
miss us before.
Uh-huh.
Our first question comes from Devin Hernandez.
That's my boy.
who
His
is-
Instagram handle is Devin Your Butt.
That's right.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so. It's fantastic.
His question is, I really want to know how each of you deal with a negative Nancy on the card in tournament play. And for Jason, he can give me an anecdote about a Debbie Downer at trivia night.
Mm.
Gotta include the kid. First of all, let's talk about that gotta include the kid comment there. I'm 43 years old. How old
You're-
is Devin?
You are the
You
oldest
are
of the
old
four
enough
of
to
us.
be his father.
yeah?
Yeah. Devin's
Devin.
like 24, maybe.
Get out of here with
23.
that bullshit, Devin.
Yeah, he might
But
be
And he
your
looks
son.
like he's 15.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How do you deal with a negative Nancy on the card?
I don't have a great answer here because I don't know. I guess usually I feel like if I try to say anything encouraging, it would just piss them off more. So I get mad that they're doing it. I say nothing. I keep playing. And I have said to people before, like after a certain amount of time where I'm like, it's getting old, I'll be like, hey man, I don't know. You try and throw some words of encouragement, like, oh, good. When they do something right, like good shot, try and just reinforce the positive things. But I wouldn't say I have a great strategy for dealing with it.
Okay.
I don't think I've had much experience with anything like that. When we play, we choose who we play with for that reason.
Yeah.
Right.
But every time I've played like at Bowling Green or, any place like that where truly I didn't know anyone that I was playing with, everybody's been cool. Like I don't have an answer, but I'm 100% positive I would get frustrated and throw like shit.
I
So
see.
yeah,
Right.
I don't have a good,
Ain't nobody got
Answer.
time for that.
yeah.
It's been a while for me, but when I was frequently playing with strangers where that could happen, I would try to create good vibes on the card before we even threw anything. Like it was always like, hey, like being the fun guy on the card that squashed any of that from happening.
Mhm.
And
Quashed it.
quash,
Mhm.
excuse me. That always kind of worked for me.
That's
I'd always
good.
kick it off with good vibes, and then there is no bad vibes. That's my recommendation.
How about a trivia?
So I mean, I don't get much.
Other than wine moms.
yeah. We got.
Are we
going
gonna
to
be bad tonight?
Are we going to be bad girls who play trivia tonight? I don't get a lot of negativity so much as I get people that don't come to trivia often enough and try to like explain to me how they think it's going to go. I usually don't.
Flip the table.
I'm not like a BDE guy, but I found like that's the one time that I shut it down hard. Like I'll say something and walk away and be like, oh, I was a dick. For some reason, that's the one time that I'm like, I will just shut it down. Like I've done this too many times.
Yeah.
To the degree of success that I have.
Yeah.
I don't need your input. I got
Daddy,
this.
don't play that shit.
Yeah. I shut it down and I'm a little bit of a jerk about it, but
I think that's okay.
I think that, well,
That's a fine approach.
that's the other, and I'll do it right on the mic too. And I'll call them out and stuff and be like, shout out to this team who thought they were going to tell me how to run tonight. And they all kind of like look around, everybody starts cracking up. But like,
Yeah.
I think that's Anthony Jeselnik is a comedian that has a big following for a reason. Like
Yeah.
some people just kind of dig on, oh, look, that was kind of cool that he like
Yeah.
gave them shit. Like I think people, enjoy that. Not everything has to be Jason says the goofiest things. Let's go to his trivia night. Like sometimes
you let the darkness
that
out.
was awesome that he went off on that.
Sometimes you
gotta
gotta
shut down hard.
let that dark passenger out.
Yeah, every once in a while.
That more relatable, like that. I can apply that to being in the shop more than I can apply it to being on a card. And
Sure.
same thing. Like often, I have to deal with the guys from out of town that are coming in that are trying to swing dicks in the shop, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go, dude. Like, come on. First of all, if this isn't an environment that makes you think that this is something that you would have to do in the first place, very inviting. Come on in, let's have a good time, and then that happens. And that's always a struggle to deal with in the shop. My mouth is still on fire from that pepper. Still on fire from that pepper.
I have a feeling Devin's definition of a negative Nancy is his standards are probably way different than ours because Devin is the most positive person I've ever met.
Yes.
So I am the negative Nancy for sure on his card.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
People actually in the last week, two
He's
or three different
you how
people
to deal with you.
Yeah. Don't play with me. Is the answer.
He was like subtly, he was like, God, I'm so sick of Ryan. How am I? Wait a second. I'll ask Ryan, how do I deal with Ryan?
Devin's claim to fame as a player is that people say that they play their best rounds when they're on his card because he's so positive. He has such good energy. It lifts everybody else up.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I think even just being neutral to Devin might seem like you're being a bit of a negative Nancy.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if he felt that.
All right. I take back some of the hate I threw you away at the beginning when you called me kid. Moving on.
He called you kid as a term of endearment.
He better have. Carlos Saldivar has our next question.
This one's heavy. This one's good.
How do you personally deal with people that talk down on a league but have never ran one and definitely don't know what kind of commitment it takes? It's a great question, especially considering that you guys have done this a lot.
He has recently run a league. This is why he is asking this question that is important to know. I think that's really cool that he is
It's
asking
probably opened his eyes quite a bit to what has gone on.
So that's why I want to precursor my response with, I'm glad that guys like Carlos Saldivar, who frequent everything that we do, are putting themselves in a position where they can understand how aggravating it can be.
Sure.
Not that, I mean, Carlos is a sweetheart and has always been cool and a really rad dude, but I'm really happy to hear that he is seeing a little bit of the struggle because it is real. And any time that you get people together and organize them, it becomes difficult because everybody's different. I don't know. In my personal experience, I think that I've got I don't know, I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit. Like, people don't f around with me. Personally, I set a precedent with the things that I do that is like very established and very matter of fact. I've never been kind of what is this, Anthony Jeselnik, like to clap back. Not going to deal with that type of nonsense here attitude. And I think that's how anybody, if you are putting in 110% to the thing that you're doing, that's how your approach should always be. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because you shouldn't have to put up with bullshit when you are volunteering to do something for others.
Totally. I would say I've never directly heard somebody complain about a league, though I don't give 110% because I can't, it's not my job. Like, this is the thing I do on the side. So for me, whatever people get from me is like, you should be grateful that I'm doing what I'm doing. And if it's not perfect, I'm sorry. This is the best I can do with the bandwidth I have. And I'm sure that there are people that have been like, oh, he up, or, I don't go to his leagues because X, Y, or Z. I'm sure that exists somewhere. I've never heard it personally, but I would be blown away if that didn't exist somewhere out there.
It exists everywhere. I'm sure the tournaments we run, there are people that are like, nah, I'm not signing up.
Well, yeah, because just some people suck no matter how great everything is.
There's no way to get around it.
So I've never had to confront it necessarily, except from one person, and no one will be surprised to hear who it is. And it's where the expression "quit your mitchin" came from. And the thing is, when he did it, he was playfully doing it. Like, it comes from a place of like, that's just a sense of humor. But every time for a while when he would come to our glow leagues, he would come back bitching about something. Like, before he was greeted at the table coming back from his round, he would be letting you know about something that he thought was bullshit during the round. And it sucks when you're like trying to do a bunch of things and you're also trying to make sure people are having a good time. And somebody comes in with a loud voice and they're like making the attention about something that pissed them off. So my way of dealing with that was I made it into a joke. And it was almost like I'm going to roast you now for doing that because that's an unwanted behavior. And that's how I'm going to show like some love to you in a way that's like, I don't appreciate what you're doing. I want it to stop, but also I'm not mad at you about it. I'm just like, I try to turn it into a joke. And I think it works.
I did the same thing with the same person. And it made, being around Mitch, I mean, we're friends, like because of that, like the clapback, you just kind of, that's the banter that we're dudes. Like that's something that we have to deal with all the time. Talk about, men's mental health, like the testosterone that can get stirred up at these leagues and tournaments sometimes is hard to explain to somebody that doesn't experience it. Like I tell Sheila that all the time. Like I know that being a woman and being a man, two totally different worlds, but like you don't understand the things that happen in a dude's blood when you see the red, like what happens. Like I can feel my heartbeat in my neck. Like I'm going to full blown jump over the counter and choke slam somebody over something stupid that like I don't even know how that happens sometimes that I get that upset over shit.
Suddenly,
but it does happen.
You're in your mind imagining the fight that you're about to have.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Whoa, wait, why am I so mad?
Yeah. Like, whoa. Yeah. But like it's involuntary. Like it just happens through, I don't know, being a dude sometimes.
So I guess our best answer, unless you have something else to chime in, is try to make a joke out of it.
Yeah.
There's no good way to explain to someone that has not run a league or organized something that they are proud of. If you've never done that before and had somebody shit on what you've done, you can't understand. It's hard to even explain to these people when they have a complaint or when, they just run their mouths like that.
The best advice is to develop thick skin if you don't. If you don't have thick skin, then that position is not for you.
Yeah,
you will not have fun with it.
Absolutely have to
keep on trucking.
Yeah. But you can kind of like fake it till you make it with thick skin too, because that's kind of what I've had to do.
Personality
like,
type. Sure.
I didn't have the personality to be mean ever, but I was like, oh, this is just something I think I have to do. So I would do it and then walk away and my hands would be shaking and be all clammy, but I was like, no, get over it. That was the right thing to do. And now.
Well, to just deal with people who are being
just
shitty.
Right.
Yeah. I've had to like, in my mind, I remember a few times where I've had to convince myself to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is the fight that
this
is the battle that you have to pick.
Yeah.
This time you're going to pick coming back at him, and I've done that a few times, but normally just having thick skin and letting them rethink their situation later in the day and saying, wow, I was kind of a dick. That gets me through most of that. Like just keeping my mouth shut and knowing that they're going to regret everything they said later. Yep. More karma for me than actually saying anything.
It's a bit of an evolution on this same question is sort of what it takes to handle and to what it takes to deal with like situations that nobody wants to deal with as an event organizer, to say the things you don't want to have to say and to like confront those. Like the example I'm going to give is not from a disc golfer, but it's from our last event. So we had this pop-up event at Bussey Woods, which is a forest reserve site. It's not a disc golf course. So of course there's a lot of locals there. We have signs up. We do the best we can to like keep it safe. But there was a older couple who had started setting up a party for their entire family in one of the pavilions that was right next to a basket. They had laid out this beautiful spread of food. Like all the plates were like organized artistically and they'd clearly put some time into it. And they did it like right over the lunch break. So none of us saw it happening. And then we had to say to this older lady and her like family, you guys are going to have to move this. It sucked. Nobody wanted to tell these people that. Like the knot in my stomach was the worst. How are they even going to move everything? Where are they going to move it to? There were other places, but I couldn't tell them where. And I was like, hey, as an event organizer, it's not really my problem how you solve this, but you need to solve this. And I'm so sorry that it's going to like mess with the party you guys are trying to have, but there's a process here. We have permits. There's safety concerns. And they were like begging, like pleading, like, please, what are we supposed to do? The worst feeling ever. But you take on the responsibility of putting on an event. You have to do what's in the best interest of the event. So I guess the reason I bring it up is if you're gonna host an event, you have to commit to like what it's going to take to make that event run smoothly, knowing there may be some uncomfortable and some friction that you're gonna have to deal with. If you're not willing to confront those things, you just shouldn't sign up for hosting events.
And it will hit right when you think that everything is fine.
That's it. The day was going so well, and I was like, "Oh, now we have to break. Now we have to break a family's heart." Oh God.
Yeah.
How did that go? I mean, what was
They refused to leave. At a certain point, they were like, they kept pushing back, and I was like, "All right, listen, I don't want to do this, but like, there's a protocol here. What we do, we have the permit here. You guys don't have a permit. I have to get the Forest Reserve officers involved." So I like called this number, and the cops came. It was a whole thing. Like people were trying to putt, and the cops drove up onto the grass, like behind the basket, and were like telling these family politely, "Sorry, you guys are gonna have to leave."
I was hoping they had guns drawn.
No. It was all very friendly.
Ma'am, put down the cutlery.
The plastic knives.
Yeah.
No, but it sucked because there's players trying. It's a PDJ
Step away
sanctioned
from the
thing, and they're, like,
charcuterie.
literally trying to putt, and then like the cops are there at the basket, so then they're just waiting. And I'm like, guys, we gotta wrap this. Like, we gotta get this wrapped up. So they left. The event was smooth, but there were a couple instances where we had to ask people to move, and it was like, it's what you sign up for if you're going to host an event at a public park.
Exactly right.
One of those things that made me see red, and it was just like you said, very insignificant now that you think about it. But at Clash 2 years ago, we had put a garbage bag over the practice basket over by hole 12's basket.
Mm-hmm.
One of the touring pros, who should know better,
right,
was putting at it even with a garbage bag on it, like practicing or whatever. And there had been some complaints by the players who were actually putting on hole 12.
Which is like 60, 75 feet away.
Yeah, which is close enough that you shouldn't be doing it, which is the reason why we put the garbage bag over it, and which is the reason why we had pulled it this year. But I had to go over there and tell the guy, like, "Hey, man, there's a garbage bag on this. You're too close. We've had some complaints. I need you to stop." And he was immediately like combative.
Ooh.
Like,
it's almost always the response.
Argumentative to the point where like he couldn't understand why it would be possible for anyone to stop him from doing what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked around, and there wasn't really anybody around at the moment, but I was on candid camera for a minute. Like, you couldn't possibly be serious. Right. And then he just walked away and was like mumbling stuff and throwing F-bombs and all this, like, and I just saw red. Like, I just wanted to like, shove his face in the gravel.
Yeah.
For like how much of an asshole. I just had to walk away and like complain about it to people that would understand. And then we got over it and it was fine. I was so upset. And like to this day, he will always be on my shit list now.
Yeah.
Just for how immediately insulting he was.
Yeah.
For me to ask a simple question that was obvious in the first place.
Wow.
It was so,
Okay.
So you just have to be ready for stuff like that, which is unfortunate.
I don't want to drag this on too much longer, but now you reminded me the second incident we had at that event was this ratchet family that reacted that way. They set up a whole picnic right next to a basket on at a picnic table, which was like out of the way, but like still right in the green basically. And I was like, guys, I'm sorry, you're going to have to move. And they immediately started like clapping back with like, just like ratchet ghetto, like, "Oh, then why is there a picnic table here? Huh? Who are you? Are you the manager here?"
Right.
And I was like, Jesus, like, hey, I'm trying to be cool about it. You guys don't want to be cool. I don't want to have to call the Forest Reserve officers. Oh, thank you so much for not calling the cops like you said you were. 8-year-old kids in the family are like, "Who do you think you are?"
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this family is the worst.
Crazy, dude. Yeah. It's
After
hard to
a
deal
couple
with the
minutes,
public,
they just
man.
got up and left, but they were all like just chirping.
Yeah. It's hard to deal with the public, no doubt.
There's a lot of information there, Carlos. I hope a
Thanks
nugget.
a lot, Carlos. You just ruined my night.
Yeah, I hope a nugget fell out for you there. And for those younger listeners, Ryan made a reference earlier. Candid camera is like punked for old people.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Smile, you're on candid camera.
Sorry.
Punked is even too old for
Yeah,
me.
they don't even know who Ashton
And
Kutcher is.
punked is like YouTube for old people.
You should have done that as one of those
Yeah.
those
Maybe I will.
those drop-ins are so
we
good.
YouTube is like
America's funniest home video.
Yeah, right. What do I know? I'm just a kid. You see what you've done to me, Devin? I'm a broken man.
Yeah.
I need David Hopkins to put me in a better mood.
Hopkins.
And he
Help us out,
did.
Hop.
He just wants to hear Jason top the Jolene story. Probably the biggest moment on the podcast. He said his biggest moment, but I changed it to the biggest
The
moment.
biggest
That's
moment.
okay.
Maybe.
He set the bar high, and now he's got to top it. No pressure, Jason. Thanks, Dave. I'm working on one. Let's go.
Real quickly, what moments could rival that moment?
On the podcast?
Yeah.
Mike Strauss.
Mike Strauss coming back.
Yeah, coming back with it.
Yeah.
That was like, if I was at like
bigger.
a 99, that was what put it at
But
100.
that would have could have only happened because you did what you
Yes,
did.
Right.
So
All right. So I would say the only other moments that come to mind at that level is Clay's Too Farty, which was it's up there. It's not 99, but it's like it's an A.
Yeah,
Very good.
Yeah, definitely.
And then early season 1, so you were with the circus kids.
so you were the circus
Still
crowd.
my favorite moment on the show. Like every now and then, Facebook reminds me
Such a great
of that.
burn to such a great burnable dude.
Yeah, right.
Because Dana did not see that coming at all.
Nobody
No.
saw that coming.
I
You were
am-
so quick with it.
About once every 2 weeks, I will think about that and like internally high five myself.
Yeah.
In
I kind of walked a
that
tightrope.
situation, are there two of you high-fiving each other? How does one internal?
Like
what are you
walking
I
down
just
a
see.
hallway.
I
What are you
just see.
envisioning?
No, I
Yeah.
just see two hands. I don't know who they belong to.
Oh.
Just a high five.
There's
a
two
high
Ryans.
fi-
There's
a high
two
five.
Ryans walking down a hallway that looks like a
high school
hallway,
Locker
Yeah.
room.
but
Yeah.
nobody's. It's just them
It's
two,
just them
and then they
two.
just make eye contact, high five,
Like-
and then keep going.
They
You
do one
both
of the
Ryans are
wraparound
skipping
high
class.
fives
Yeah,
where they pass and then they,
Yeah.
they reconnect.
Yes,
them.
yes.
Yeah.
Oof, nice.
and they
A
just
high
keep
five,
on
low
walking.
five.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Excellent. Up next, Quentin Thorson.
Q.
What's each of your favorite niche movie or show from back in the day that no one remembers / talks about anymore?
So this was a reference to
great
how
question.
I posted the We're Back dinosaur movie like post to let people know they were going to be
Oh,
recording.
sure. Yeah. That
He
falls in
DM'd he
there.
DM'd the account saying he basically posed that question, but it wasn't a question. He was just like, so good, such a good niche thing that nobody remembers. And I was like, why are you saying that? Post it on the mailbag thread. What do you? And he was like,
Oh,
it wasn't a question. I was just acknowledging the We're Back thing. But
Sure.
but I will post it as a question. I thought about it.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a great answer. Does anybody else?
I do, because I was listening to another podcast that Jason had recommended with Steve-O and Kevin Smith.
Oh, you listened to it?
So I did.
Nice.
Sheila
Oh,
and I
nice.
listened. Started to listen, then we continued to listen in the van, and we were helping out Ryan today. But immediately, as you were reading that, Mallrats popped into my head.
Oh, nice.
And I think, I don't know what was the verbiage that he actually used, like from way back. To me, that's a long time ago. Mallrats
Oh,
was
yeah.
like late 90s.
From back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
Shit, we're talking 25
So,
years ago.
yeah, I was a teenager, but I don't know if too many young people, they probably know Kevin Smith for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That
the
was my
more,
first Kevin Smith movie as
Clerks and Mallrats and the
Yeah.
stuff that they were doing. I don't know. To me, that stuff was
It's definitely a little cult following,
The
and if you're not
coolest
into
of the cool
one of them,
when I
you're not
was
going to
young.
be
No.
into any of them. I don't feel like
Right.
they all have a feel. Yeah, but they're definitely all those
Yeah.
movies are great.
So now that I'm thinking about it, there's two movies that come to mind. Drop Dead Fred.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
That
Looks
was
just like her mother. Another little mega beast.
okay. That's a
Yeah.
deep cut.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about it, but I watched it a lot when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
I
super
used to watch
weird
it all
and
the
super
time.
niche.
Love
Mhm.
that movie.
And then Little Monsters with Howie Mandel.
Yes.
Got him,
Yes.
need him, got him,
Got
need him,
him,
got
got
him,
him,
Oh.
need him, need him.
I have mine,
Yeah.
and I think we've talked about it before, but it was a movie that I thought only existed in my mind. And that no one-
You and the other Ryan were in the hallway watching it. Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about this movie, and that no one else had ever seen in the history of seeing movies, and it was only for me.
Mhm.
I don't know how to explain that. There's got to be a movie that everybody has that's like nobody has ever seen this. That's not possible. And it was called The Peanut Butter Solution.
Oh
Yes.
my God, that was going to be mine.
You're joking.
Shut up.
I swear to God, I could recite that movie for you if you wanted. That is one of the most bizarre movies ever made.
It is the weirdest movie, and I tried to explain it to our friend Donnie and Joe when Early Birdies were playing one morning, and he looked it up and went home and watched it, and he was like, "What in the
Yeah.
hell is going on?" And so it is. I don't even know how to explain it. There are so many facets to the movie.
It's
but-
like trying to explain a dream
Yes.
with how bizarre it is.
Absolutely.
But even in the same, you ever try to explain a dream and it's like disappearing from your
Yes.
mind as you're
Yes.
saying the words?
Yeah,
It's that same feeling with it. Like
yeah.
you almost, if you didn't watch it in the last 30 days, it's going to slowly work its way out of your
Absolutely.
brain.
And I'm
only leave
manufacturing
some parts.
Yeah, I'm manufacturing parts of that movie that I'm forgetting. And so if I watch it again, it will be different than I remember.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah.
it is such a weird movie that
So-
I thought nobody knew existed.
How does it start? How does he get
So,
the scare?
I don't remember if it is like kids dare him to go into this, old haunted mansion, this old, house
We
that
need
is
to rewatch this.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But he ends up
I used to have it on VHS.
yeah,
Oh shit.
Yeah.
he ends up going into this house and being scared by these ghosts.
But you don't see that. You just see
Yes.
like he falls out of a window or something.
Yeah. And loses his hair.
And loses his hair, goes
because
bald.
right.
Yes.
And then he
From the scare.
right. For whatever
get
reason
that,
they
yeah.
go
It's
back.
Canadian.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian
it's-
film.
yeah.
Okay.
And it's
And these
it's
ghosts
from the early 90s.
Yeah.
So it's got
I think
like
it's got to be 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably
I
80s.
think maybe if it's 89, 90, I'd
Yeah.
put it right in that range.
But these ghosts, they go back into the house eventually for whatever reason. And these ghosts are like a couple, like an old couple or a couple of old ladies or whoever it is. And they show him what ends up being the peanut butter solution, which is a recipe that has like dead flies and peanut butter and all this weird shit that he ends up making at home.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up putting way too much peanut butter or way too much of something in
he's
it.
got an
Like a blender in his
like
kitchen.
an Asian friend though that
Yeah.
is helping him the whole time.
Oh, maybe,
that
yeah.
looks like Short Round
Sure.
from
Okay.
Indiana Jones.
Right.
It's just-
Okie dokie, Dr. Jones, hold on to your potato.
And so he puts it all over his head and like smears it all over his head and then ends up starting to grow hair, but it grows exponentially faster than he expects to the point where he looks like Cousin It from the Addams
Yeah.
Family.
Like within an hour.
Wait, what is
nothing-
weird, what is weird about this two guys?
Right? So that's
Just
not
wait.
even that's
Just
not
wait.
even
Yeah.
the tip of the iceberg.
It wasn't even like the tone of these shots and these scenes were not funny. It scared me.
No,
I
it was
remember
scary.
being
It was scary.
uncomfortable
Absolutely.
and being like,
And it's
who
very-
did this, dude?
Yeah.
Like, why? This is not a
It
children's
played,
film.
It played in theaters, but if you watch
I
it,
think
it
it
looks
was-
like it was like a sci-fi original.
Right. I think
movie.
the
It's
story is German by
so
origin.
low
Yeah.
Budget.
But
budget. Yeah.
eventually this guy called the Maestro
The Maestro. Yep.
kidnaps this kid into this warehouse where there are a bunch of other kids that have been kidnapped and
Oh,
forced
no.
into slave labor where they're making paintbrushes
What
out of
the-
this kid's hair.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hope Quentin. I hope you are so happy with your question.
And the paintbrushes are magical
Correct.
because when the maestro paints with them, you can walk into the painting. But like when he paints, it's just like
Stop.
he just goes like maybe 5 strokes on a canvas and a painting appears on that canvas.
right.
So
And
much going on in this film.
Then they can walk into the paintings. So bizarre.
So
There's- yeah.
I'm gonna keep my original because it's a fabulous movie. But I'm also gonna add to this because it is in the same realm as the movie we're talking about, Witches.
Oh,
Oh,
the
yeah.
original? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Child film. Scared
Yeah.
the shit out of me,
Right.
dude.
Oh.
Terrifying.
Turning kids into mice?
Yeah.
They were scary as hell. dude.
is
no longer the child.
What's her name? That was the main
Child.
witch.
He's a mouse.
It's like, no.
It's not Cher, is it?
No, it's
No.
Angelica Houston.
Angelica
Yeah,
Houston,
Yeah.
who is
Yeah, the main
awesome
one.
and
Yeah.
terrifying in that
Yeah,
movie.
she
But
scared the
yeah,
shit
She
out of me.
scared the shit out of me too.
Yeah.
and they're all sitting at those dinner tables and like
This is a
Yeah.
great Halloween
Jim Henson.
conversation.
Jim.
Those are
Henson.
Jim Henson
Yeah.
puppets. The
Yeah.
little mice are. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so movies that probably shouldn't have scared me, but scared the shit out of me was Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh, with the
yeah.
troll.
That
Miak.
troll was pretty scary to me as a
Yeah,
kid.
that troll was scary.
Yeah.
Milk. There was something on milk with that one.
No,
right?
it is milk, but he thinks it's something called Miak because like the scroll was missing the letter L. And so he couldn't figure out what it was. He didn't think milk. He thought it was Miak.
Yeah.
And then he figures out at the end that
Yeah.
it's milk. That makes the troll go away. Yeah. We used to rent. It was a thing
Just
for
us though. No one else.
Yeah. For our mom to pick us up on Friday from our dads, our parents are divorced, and take us to the video store, and we would get movies
Yeah.
for the weekend, right?
Oh yeah, that was
And
Lit Fridays.
we
Lit.
rented I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
Hell yes.
I'm gonna get you sucker. Dirty mother.
Don't say that.
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
And Mac and Me
Hell yes.
so many times.
It's about more than friendship. It's about adventure. Mac and Me.
That I can recite those movies almost verbatim, and I haven't seen them in 25 years. but they're so ingrained in my psyche from when I was a child. And like that was still an era with which it was a thing to get the movies and order the pizza and get the big bowl of popcorn, and everybody sat there and watched them. And it was just,
damn it, I wish it was Friday right now because I want to do that.
It's so,
I want to go get a big bowl of
much
popcorn.
fun.
I have to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would go home tonight and stay up till 3 in the morning and watch stupid movies and eat popcorn right now.
Yep.
And that scene, and I'm going to get you, sucker, when the dude gets shot in the street and his body's laying there, and the last thing I do is run off screen, and the dude steps on his body, and the dead body farts when he steps on him. We would just do you remember? We would rewind it 50 times and laugh every time. We probably wore out whatever video store we rented it from. We probably wore out that part of the VHS.
Sure.
We just rewind it and play it, rewind it and play it, rewind it and play it. Yeah, good stuff.
Have you seen Black Dynamite?
No, I have not. No.
Put that on your list.
Yeah.
As people who loved I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, Black Dynamite, you need to see it.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about it.
God, what a great question. I can go on. Also, the Boondock Saints. That was another one that, like,
Sean, you like that movie,
little
right?
later in life. Yeah.
Damn it, Alex.
When I saw that movie, I thought that nobody knew it existed other than my buddy who told me to watch it.
Yeah.
So that's how I treated it. Like,
it was for a time, and then it
was
got,
such a
like,
word of
everybody
mouth
felt
thing.
that way about it.
Yeah. And it was like, you guys have to see this movie. And I would urge people, when I worked at video stores, they'd be like, what do you like? That was it. I'd say Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? It's in the action section. Grab it. If you don't like it, I'll give you your money back when you return it. And everyone would bring it back like, why did I never hear this movie? It's the best thing ever.
I felt the same way about Boondock Saints as I did about Snatch.
Oh, Snatch.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
top
Snatch
3.
is so
Dogs? That's like dogs?
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. I like Dags.
Let's go. All right. So up next, we got a question from Garrett, Vermont. I'm assuming y'all watched Simon's Deli video, and I'm just curious what all your thoughts are on his thoughts on the course. Stoked for the next episode.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I wish that I would have. Well, I've thought about this actually because I've had this conversation in the shop too many goddamn times. So stop asking me, please.
But thanks for your question.
Yeah. I immediately wish that I would have given him more information. But the more I thought about it, I liked that he had viewed it without any type of bias. It was cool to just have him go and figure it out. And then like they had questions that I could have provided that information for them, but they were still able to manage. Like I remember
better content that they didn't.
Well, I mean, it just depends on who you ask. I only care about it because I don't want it to seem like the course is confusing.
Okay.
They came back and they were like, there's a lot of long walks out there. Like, that was the first thing Casey said when they got back. And I was like, there's like 2 long walks out there. And he was like, no way, dude. There's like 9 long walks.
What?
So immediately I'm like, oh, you did something wrong because there is not 9 long walks out there.
Aside from 12 to 13, what's the next long walk?
Well, 18 to 1. If you're doing that.
If you're playing
13 to 14. 13 is on its own little island there by the shop. Like, there's a walk from 12 to never in a million years of explaining the walk at Delwood would I ever consider that distance long. I would say, don't get confused. You go from here to here, but I would never go, it's a long walk. On anything at Delwood. Personally, I wouldn't.
Do you know, did he start on 1 or 13?
I believe they did start on hole 1. Yeah, they went down because the video started on hole 1. Yeah. So, but
So
then
they
they
didn't even have
didn't.
the 18 to
They
1
didn't
walk then.
play hole 3 in the video, but they had a score for hole 3 on the scorecard in the video. So I was like, well, they played it. So, but they play 4 blue tee?
4
Or did they play 4 white?
4 to 5 is a bit of a walk. Not crazy,
really?
but it's a bit.
You can see it.
By the
from
time you're at the
4.
top of the hill, like it's just the bridge, like it's right there. You go against the grain of the fairway itself. You walk the distance of the hole, then walk it back.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah. But still,
So,
I
but
think to have a really
watching
great
the
course,
video
it's kind of necessary.
right
to
away
have
when they
those
didn't
things.
show any footage of them playing hole 3, I was like, did they play something wrong? I don't know. And I didn't really ask. I didn't see it until they had already, they were gone. But I thought it was great.
I actually haven't seen it yet.
There's just so much to Delwood that wasn't shown.
Yeah, you can't capture it in a video of that
it's
length.
like you can't do New York in a week. You know what I mean? You can't do Delwood in 3 hours. Like there's so much more to that place and so many more layouts. And like I wish I would have had more time to explain. There's an XXL layout and like
Yeah.
because
well, they
I
played
do it
some
all the
B
time
pins,
with,
they played some A pins, and like
There's options out there. And I have to do this all the time with people who come out to the course and they're like, what do I play? This is so confusing. And I'm like, well, it's not confusing because there is no one way to play it. That's the weird thing that like, because most courses you go to don't necessarily have multiple sets of tees, multiple sets of pins. There is just one layout. So people go, what's the one that I play? And I go, well, what do you want to play? Well, I don't know. What's the one that I play? Well,
I get that.
What are you in the mood for? Because that's what we have done here is that we have given you.
So you're saying when somebody goes on UDisc, there's just so many options.
So confused. They think that there's like more than 27 holes. And I'm like, no, there's just multiple tees and there's multiple pins. And
I'm sure that you don't have to experience any of the confusion, but I'll admit the first time I played through, I didn't quite understand the 6A, 6B, 6, the extras.
It throws people off for sure. It completely throws people off.
I wouldn't call it a confusing thing, but I think it helps if you played the course once and then it's like, oh, it makes sense.
Totally. But that is the conversation that I have to have all the time. Anyway, Simon video, I thought it was really cool. Just in general, I thought Simon were you there, Ryan, when we met him back at Ledgestone 2016? Mm-hmm. Or was it like me and Joey that walked over? I had who Simon was in my mind that he was like kind of cocky and kind of didn't give a shit. I've just like built up this weird persona of Simon Lizotte in my mind over the years of like, and I think it's fair. I think even Simon would admit that that's fair. Like he has a tendency to kind of come off like he doesn't really give a shit.
Yeah, I see that.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
It comes off in his play. I mean, the commentators talk about it. They're like, oh, Simon is, just winging it and doing these crazy, Simon shots and like not really looking at the game the way that we watch Paul and Ricky do it on a weekly basis.
Right.
But that was changed when he came into the shop. It was definitely like, oh, I have been misunderstanding this guy, that he is just so much more chill. And just this past, they do the conference before the tournament, and they were interviewing everybody leading up to Maple Hill this weekend. In his interview, they were asking him all kinds of like super detailed, intimate questions about what's happened in the past at Maple Hill and what he did there. And he was like, oh, I don't know. Can you remind me? Like, kind of like I don't really keep track of the stuff that you guys, like you guys care way too much about the shit that you think that I care about. His thing. And I just don't really care. Like, they were asking him how he feels about where his standings are. Yeah. And he was like, I don't know. Do you know? Can you tell me? Because I really don't know. And I was like, dude, he is actually my favorite because he literally does not give a fuck about that stuff. Yeah. I'm kind of like that. I'm of that mindset of
just following
things. Of like just,
like whatever.
Follow your ooze, man. Just be who you are. Yeah. You don't, he's not trying to prove anything to anybody. He's just being Simon Lizotte.
That's the essence of being cool.
Yes, exactly. So that very much came off in not a cocky way when he was in the shop. It was very humble. Like I thought to myself, like, man, like I want to just be like, hey Simon, do you want to get the out of here and go get a burger and a beer and just go bullshit, and just talk about life? And I bet he would have been like, yes, let's go do that instead of playing.
Sure.
Like, and that I thought was really cool. That was that was like my favorite part of him coming, was that we didn't sit there and nerd out about disc golf like you would think that he would have. I like that.
Yeah, that's
just
cool.
Like we do.
Check out the rim on this. We have a disc golf,
so I've designed it like he couldn't have given two shits about it, And I think that's great. Like we don't have to dissect everything to where it's just gross, man. Yeah. Like, can we just like it? Can we just get back to liking something without having to dissect it to these tiny little pieces that are so gate kept?
Yeah.
Day in and day out. If you don't know about them, then like, are you a real disc golfer type of shit is so gross, man. Like, and the knob gets turned up every single day as more and more content is out there. It does happen. And it was very humbling and very kind of like, oh yeah,
refreshing.
That's right. Yes, refreshing to see a guy that is
you got to hang out with Simon the person, not Simon the professional disc golfer.
Correct. And the irony is that everybody comes into the shop and is like, dude, how was it? And I was like, not at all how you would think it would be, because he doesn't want to sit around and talk about the type of shit that you would think he would want to sit around and talk about. And it was great. It was super refreshing. Was that long-winded?
No.
I think it was cool though. It was good.
Good. And for you younger listeners, Sean made a reference to Following Your Ooze. That's a reference to Donnie Darko, another great movie.
Yes.
That is completely underrated.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Speaking of Jakes, we're going to end this
Oh,
with a
please
Jackie
don't do it.
T-Horns
Oh,
question.
boy.
And I know who's not going to answer it.
I just saw him the other day for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
I'm so nervous to hear what this is.
Hypothetically,
Oh boy.
Here we go.
if your mom and significant other swap bodies
Oh my
Freaky
God.
Friday style, and the only way to get them swapped back was to have sex with one of them,
Which one?
Who you choosing?
So your mom and your significant other.
So your
swap-
mom's mind is in your significant other's body.
Correct, and vice
That's
versa.
the answer.
Oh,
That's the correct answer.
Read it
Otherwise, you're
there's no body swap.
yeah. I'm okay with
Right.
I'm
It's just
more okay with
personalities
Personality.
are within, in the only way.
Sherry Ropo's inside that body.
You're right.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about it.
I knew you wouldn't.
The correct
Oh, you're
answer
right.
is you take your significant other's body
Uh-huh.
with your mom's brain.
Right, and you just don't make eye contact. 'cause
Yeah.
eyes are the windows
What's the
of
worst
soul.
case scenario? Your mom gets to see what a generous lover you are. That's big deal.
Plus, it doesn't say to completion, so
Right.
it could just
Have you met our mom?
yeah.
No, but she does. She does like things that I've put on Facebook, and then think that Jason put
Yes,
them on
yes,
Facebook.
she did
I
do that.
think that
Yeah.
Jason
She's
made
vocal.
it.
Yeah, yeah. What an inappropriate time to bring that up. Thanks, Jake.
How do we put a leash on Jake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want him leashed. I want that little bit of uncomfortability to end our mailbags with. I
Oh,
love it.
Nailed it.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
funny. It's
That
funny,
one.
but
That one was
I
as
don't
far
wanna think about that.
as close to the edge as you are allowed to get, Jake. Just
So we're
Here's
edging
what I would
Jake.
like to
that
know:
anymore.
is he organically coming up with the shit that he puts?
God, I hope so. God, I hope so.
Or
Please.
I've heard
really,
that-
God, I hope so. Yes. Or is he pulling it from the internet? Has
I've heard
somebody
that
asked
question
him
before.
This question,
Yeah,
yeah.
that one specifically, I've heard before.
I'd like to think that Jackie T. Horns is just the kind of person that's like, this is
What can I hit him with? Yeah.
when he's stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
where his mind goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cracks himself up and is like, oh, I can't wait for Unstable Discourse to post the mailbag so I can put that in there. Best case scenario, that's happening.
Let's just tell ourselves that's the case.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All
That's an end on tonight's mailbag session.
It's a wrap on the mailbag.
Yeah.
Do we have any? Oh, we have some ideas of what. So what we have: episode 13, 14, 15 guests that we have in mind. I suppose we shouldn't say, but there are a few people that we are pretty excited about.
This is going to be our only episode this season that doesn't have a guest.
Oh wow,
We've had
Possibly. Yeah.
all prior, and if we've got these guests lined up at the end, this is just a little
Yeah.
palate cleanser.
This was fun to just
of
not
palate
have to have structure and just talk about whatever comes up.
Right.
But my little
I know.
on the spectrum brain is like, let's get the structure back on the next episode.
My thoughts are hot air balloons. Your thoughts are trains.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I don't do great with sitting still.
Right.
Like, which is why when I take, I've only taken mushrooms, a handful of times, but when I take them, I cannot sit in a room. I start to lose my mind quickly.
Mm-hmm.
If I get outside and I go on a walk, I'm great. Everything is beautiful. I'm just like on an adventure. If I have to stop and sit anywhere, it gets dark for me very quickly. So yeah, I like to keep things moving. Anyways, all right, that is a wrap on this episode. Thank you guys for submitting your questions. That was a great mailbag, probably the best we've had this season.
I'm so proud of
Absolutely.
Alex. He almost touched the mic and then did not.
And then did
Yeah.
not. I saw it.
He
Yeah.
stopped
Good for you.
You're welcome. Skirt. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We'll be back with 3 more episodes this season. Keep listening, keep sharing, and liking, commenting, and engaging. We love you all for that. Until next time, keep it on the fairway.
See ya.
Good night.
Good night, y'all. Unstable Discourse is produced by Sheila Callahan. Edited by Ryan Fancher. Beats provided by Alex Seminary. And produced in association with Unstable Disc Golf Gear. Look good, feel good, play good.
Unstable Discourse is a Top Secret Studios production.
Well, what's the worst case scenario? Your mom gets to see what a generous lover you are?